Hey everyone, it's Brandy Ellen from alifeblessed.com, brandyellen.com. I'm listening to Breaking the Habit on YouTube. I was listening to him talking about the church needs Catholic entrepreneurs. And some of the conversation that he was having, or the words he was saying, reminded me of how I see, let me fix this, it's a little low. Okay. So it reminds me of something that I say quite often in the world of content creation. Oftentimes I'll see, I saw this when I started my freelance writing business. So when I started freelance writing, meaning I was creating content and putting it in Facebook groups to sell to bloggers. My mission was to save mom bloggers time. I knew as a mom blogger raising my children, running a mom blog for years, that time with my kids was the whole reason I was doing mom blogging. But I noticed that a lot of people out there in the world that were blogging, mom bloggers mostly, didn't have the time for their kids or their family because they were so busy working. And even when they were spending time with their family, a lot of that was brand ambassadorship, marketing. They were taking pictures and videos of their kids. I'm guilty of this as well. We were not actually being there present with our children as fully as we could be. Let's just say that. And so I started writing content to sell it to bloggers to save them time. And I sold it at a competitive price. I don't know if it was competitive at the time, but a lower price, a price that I was comfortable with, where I felt like I was being paid sufficiently for my time, but I wasn't taking advantage financially of these mom bloggers. Because ultimately my goal of making money in that industry was to save time for mom bloggers so they could have more time with their family, right? It was never about, let me see how much money I can make and sell to all these people that I had called friends over the years, right? That never crossed my mind to do that. So I had a passionate goal. I could say a light goal versus a dark goal, the yin yang. We all have light and darkness in us. I was leaning into the light side of myself with that mission. Fast forward to now, a lot of people are no longer, they're using AI for this type of content. They're not really hiring the freelance writers like me. But if you are, please remember I am still a ghostwriter for bloggers. I've been doing it for 20 years. I have plenty of references, and I would love to just manage a blog for you. That's something I spend my free time outside of my town work doing still, among other things. But everything I do, I enjoy, and I do it to help others save time, to help others expand their business, to be successful, to reach their goals. That's what I love. That's why I got trained as a life coach in the area of goal success. I digress. Today, I see a lot of people doing content. It's not content marketing. What is it? I have the professional mode turned on Facebook. It's a digital creator. I forget exactly the right term for it, but basically you're creating content and getting paid for the content on social media. Most social media platforms now have a monetization option. I'm on the Facebook monetization module where I get paid for subscribers. You can subscribe to my Facebook profile and my Facebook page actually, and I get paid per views and that sort of thing, like on text content, photo content, and video content. But I just try to stay who I am no matter what I'm getting paid, right? So you won't see me generally showing up all prim and proper. And I mean, this is my bed head pulled up. I don't have my front tooth denture in, so you're going to see the front tooth missing here and there. I have a nice shirt on today because I'm trying to be a little feminine, but whatever. So I show up messy. But I noticed other people are showing up very edited, very composed. Their background wouldn't be crazy chaos like this. It might be something very aesthetically pleasing. Again, I'm not saying this to judge anyone. We all have our preferences and our style. But if you're doing videos for brands still and you're stressing out about it, then it's not really aligned with your spirit. It's just not. If you're doing a job, if you're working for an employer, and you're stressed about it and it doesn't feel right, and you come home and you're in such this cloud of despair and anger and frustration, then you're not actually showing up good for your family. So it's not meant for you. These things are so simple to me, but I understand that in our culture, we are not raised to trust God and to pray and understand that if we get very grounded in nature, in the natural world. I spend a lot of time with trees. I giggle because I hug trees and talk to trees and wave to the leaves. But spending time outside especially in the non-winter months up here in northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire. We have some of our winters can be rough. So I'm new to living this far north, but still in New England, our winter weather is kind of crappy, and I just want to hibernate. So the rest of the year, the other 3 seasons, I spend as much time as I can in the sunshine, out with nature. I call it refueling, right? And so if you do that, you'll start to realize that you're connecting with God, source. You can call the term whatever you want, but you're connecting with our Creator. You're connecting with something that is a part of us. We are a part of nature. Nature is a part of us. And when you start doing that, you'll start getting these nudges the closer you come to God. And when you start getting these nudges, they're very subtle. It'll feel something like you're sitting at your job and you're going, this is like, I'm feeling very consumed with frustration, irritability, anger. Something just feels not right. You might feel that way in your relationship. You might feel that way in another situation, maybe your business. You're sitting here doing your business stuff and you're like, I don't love this as much as I once did. So many of us are afraid to admit that, this just doesn't work for us anymore. And I'm not actually talking about relationships here, because I think there's more nuances with a relationship, a marriage, that sort of thing. There's a lot of different dynamics with that. But I'm talking about, your business, your job, your everyday habits. You can actually utilize that connection to God to know if you're on the divine-led path, if you will. And what the opposite of a divine-led path looks like is focused on only making money. Obviously, we all want to make money. We want to build a successful business. I would love to build a successful freelance writing, my book publishing business combined into one that helps me give jobs to other people. I really want to help other people. At the core of who I am, I want to help other people, and I know that. I know that is my God-led path. How I help other people looks differently. When I'm working in the town office, that might be a little different, helping people, versus when I'm at home doing my writing or my book publishing stuff or my coaching stuff, right? But at the end of the day, I'm still helping people. And that is my mission, to help people change their perspective. So I try to stay true to that as much as I can and not get distracted with the big dollar symbols and everything, because I do want to make more money. But my mission stays the same. The more money I make, the more people I can help have a job. That is my ultimate goal, is to help provide more sustenance to other people, whether that's growing vegetables and making, salsa, which I'm going to learn this year, or baked goods, or giving extra of my veggie garden if it becomes successful to other people, or giving eggs to people, or selling eggs to people, right? There's everything I do, whether it's money involved or just bartering, we're helping people. That's my ultimate goal in life, no matter where I am. And I can only do that by sitting with nature, talking to nature, hugging trees, right? But there's this twist in society right now where it's like you're this digital creator and you're creating all of these videos and you have to be polished and prim and proper and certain things, and you're stressing out and it's not right. Or you see that somebody else is posting videos of them going, and then they put like words over it. What happens is this is becoming very popular. Maybe you're half dressed, maybe you're just making a flirtatious face, maybe you're making an annoyed face, something that catches the attention of your audience, and then you're putting some silly text across the top that's something that triggers a response. You're essentially triggering an emotional response from your audience, and 9 times out of 10, it is not a positive response. It's an argumentative debate, angry, frustrated, annoyance, a little bit into that dark energy instead of the light. Now, again, this works on a money-making system right now. The algorithm is really pushing that kind of content. But here's the thing. I've never wanted to be part of that algorithm pushing content if it's on that side, if it's dabbling in the dark side too much, the darker side of that yin-yang. It's just not for me. I also don't like copying people. And again, I've fallen into this trap. I have fallen into the trap of thinking, well, I'll just do the video and put text up and stuff, and then it doesn't feel right. It goes back to, it doesn't feel right for me. Maybe it feels right for you. That's okay. But it doesn't feel right for me. So I'm just inviting you to revisit what you're doing in your life, to make money, to feed your family, to sit out with nature for a few minutes. Take your feet off. Yeah. Take your shoes off. Sit in a chair outside for a few minutes. The mosquitoes are really bad here, so maybe if you can't go outside, open a window and just sit and stare out the window. something where you're not listening to anything except for the outside noises. Now, if you live in a city and stuff, I understand it might be hard, so maybe go to a park. And it doesn't matter, maybe you hear cars going by. It is what it is. I hear cars going by here too. But be very present in the moment. You can put a YouTube nature video on, right, with the sounds of nature. And just sit. Try to do that for 10 minutes a day. Try to just listen. Don't try to clear your mind, because if you're fighting against your overactive mind, this is going to be harder. Instead of pushing away your overthinking brain, just focus on the sounds around you. Find a sound that you can focus on. It might be a really high-pitched bird sound. I do that sometimes. It like grabs my attention. I can focus on it, and then my ADHD brain slows down. Do that for 10 minutes a day, right? Start journaling if you want. Write down what comes to you. I did that. I have a whole journal notebook of things that came to me while I was sitting doing this very practice, near the river by a tree. And soon you will start to notice, as an observer of your life, the areas in which you feel tension, which you feel something's not quite right, where you feel like something isn't quite aligned with you, and you're not quite sure why, but it just doesn't feel right. Something's off. And those are the signs that you need to visit whatever that thing is, the job, the habit, whatever it is. When I quit smoking, I knew it just wasn't suiting me anymore. There's something about it. And so, my Habits Equal Life book that's on Amazon, I shared my mission of how I said, I'm just done, right? It's the same thing with your job. It's the same thing with your business. You can shift your life at any moment. You could become a new person. It's even better if you have a spouse, a partner in your marriage or your long-term relationship that's supportive of you, that sees that part of you, and they don't interfere. They encourage it. They're like, oh, wow, you're inspiring. You're amazing. Keep going, right? Maybe you don't have a partner. You have a sister or brother or a parent, that are supportive. Whatever it is, make sure you have people around you that aren't telling you you're crazy, that life isn't happily ever after, or that you're never going to achieve things, or that you need to go get a regular job and live like everyone else. Don't disown those people. Remember that their fight back for you is just coming from a place of fear within them, because it's different. For 20 years, I have fought back I haven't really fought back, but I have just let the naysayers go. And then one day when I got to a certain income level, I was told I was lucky. It went from go get a job, get off the computer, go get a job, go get a real job, go blah, 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 to, oh, you're so lucky. And I don't think luck had anything to do with it. I think God had something to do with it, and I just didn't know. Because I was trusting my spirit, where my guides were leading me. I was trusting that I was meant for something specific. I was trusting that no matter how many bad things or happened to me, or how many bad choices I made to others, that there was something more I was meant for. And not to be known. I really actually like being invisible, but I can't put kids in front of the camera anymore. My kids are adults. So that's why I have chickens and dogs on my and sometimes a cat on my Facebook, because I don't actually enjoy being forward facing. This is a new practice for me. So you can find out what you're meant for. It'll take time though. And just trust the process and go with the flow. If you need some help, we can chat. I love talking to people. I love listening to them and going, oh my gosh, that's your passion. That's what you're meant for right there. And kind of giving them an unbiased outsider opinion on, wait, I think that's your thing. Oh my gosh, what about that? You light up when you talk about that. You light up. So I do have goal mapping and life coaching sessions over at brandyellen.com/shop. Or you can chat in the comment section. That's a great place for community, right? Because I think that we all have something we were born to do in this world. It doesn't have to be gigantic, I'm sitting here not doing anything gigantic. I'm just being me, I'm just being kind. And good things happen because I expect good things to happen. But that doesn't mean that there aren't bumps. That doesn't mean that I have to make hard choices. That doesn't mean that, everything comes easy. But in a way it does, because I look at life a certain way that allows me to handle these trusting of God moments, if you will. And every day I work at it. So don't try to follow the crowd. Please don't do something that doesn't feel quite right for you, just to appease others, just to be part of a group of people. It's okay to stand out. It's okay to withdraw from the crowd. I've been doing it most of my life, and I'm okay with it. That doesn't mean I love these people any less. Just because I don't fit in with someone doesn't mean I don't love them and send love to them and love watching their specific journey that they're doing. The people that are doing the videos with, people in text, and it's feeding the side of the algorithm that I don't want to feed, I still love their creativity and seeing what they put out there, and I laugh sometimes at the funny jokes they have. I'm not sitting here going, oh my gosh, shame on them. I try my best to not judge. I'm human. We judge sometimes without realizing. I probably judged a little bit in here and how I was coming across, but my intention was not to judge. My intention was try to get you to see that there is something that each of us are divinely created to do, and it will be for the betterment of the whole of humanity. So, listen to this a couple of times if you can. Get through it. It's 15 minutes. Oh my goodness. I am like, I work on honing in my videos, but for now, I just really need to share what comes to me, and I think someone out there needed to hear this message today. If it's you, I pray that you are divinely led on your path and you start something that has been a passion of yours for a long time. You don't have to quit your job and quit your life to do it. Just add a little bit of that calling into your life, right? So, until we meet again, I wish you a beautiful day. I pray that you find a little tiny bit of joy and gratitude in every moment or every day that you have. And we'll meet again. I'll share videos as messages come to me. And I guess that's it for now. I got to go to editing a manuscript for someone now. Not editing, formatting a manuscript. Mwah. Much love. Be good.